Agenda, folks, anybody have any questions or comments about the agenda? I don't know about you, but I am so sleep deprived.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
been really worth it.
Yeah, okay, so, I guess I didn't officially call the meeting to order. So we can do that is 9:05. Thank you, 9:05. And I'll ask again, any questions or concerns about the agenda? Seeing none, did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting? Again, apologies that they were late. And thanks again to Elizabeth, I was amazed.
I thought you'd already sent them out.
I may have, but I couldn't find in my sent email that I had.
The only thing, as I was looking at it, I realized that it would have been helpful. I didn't put people's last names on it, and officially, probably I should make sure that people who are present have the full name.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think officially we probably do need
Yeah,
to do
I can do
that.
that, so make sure that happens.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just always impressed by how much detail you're able to capture.
It's old age.
I really appreciate that. Okay, somehow,
The opposite happened.
exactly the opposite happened. Okay, so, but for the public, we are very fortunate to have Robin with us this morning, and we will get to her. I think, why don't we just go ahead and, talk about what Robin is here to talk about, so we don't need to keep her any longer than necessary. Okay?
What do you want to say?
So I didn't print a lot of copies, but I did make a, and I can send these to Star and Matt so that it can get out. But after the, conversation, our last meeting, I made some revisions to the staff, room based on the feedback that I had, mostly from Matt, that was really, useful. And basically, I made a storage room that things in here could be stored in, as well as whatever else against the window, but apparently the window is not something everybody loves when they're trying to relax, and I totally get that. So I had a couple of different ideas, and we can make some changes to it and sort of massage it till we get it to where you guys want it. One of them has like a snack area so that we can bump out that portion for the children's library, so that we can work towards getting a little more space in there and have the flow in there change, have more space for an office area. The other one doesn't do that, but it also gave us we could have a storage room for here and a storage room for library paraphernalia. So I'm just gonna pass these to Karen, and then I'll make sure I send those out, because it's kind of useless to you guys without being able to see it, and I apologize for that. So that was the first thing that I worked at, and then I took Chip Greenberg's drawing and I drew on it. So this I'll have to get scanned, but I had this idea that, we had been talking about having an area that would work for, like, people to be able to talk on the phone, and actually Star, someone who gave me this thought. And I don't know how to make it so you guys can see this, so, I apologize, Matt and Joyce.
If I hold one side.
I don't think you'll be able to see it, but maybe.
I think the way the owl works, unfortunately, it's not going to notice that it's the thing to show anyway. So, well, you cut most of it there.
Yeah, if I keep talking, I guess. But, over the, oh shoot. Over the door, which is on this side, it's just open to the air, the vestibule. So what I was talking about is cantilevering out, it's 8 feet, so we'll have to have some support. But we could get some, like an ADA room, another office, and then smaller rooms that would just be a chair for if somebody needed to talk on the phone.
Oh, wow.
So it worked out perfectly. So we have 55 feet roughly this way and then 8 feet this way. So, as far as ADA turning radiuses and everything else, we have that option. It goes over the circulation desk. So, I mean, we're changing the volume in that room, but, the cool thing about it is we could put some tempered glass in on this side so you could still see out, but at least, it's like Star's office could be her office, and then this could be an office for somebody else. And then the rest of them could be, I mean, we end up with how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller rooms. We could also make it, you know, you didn't think you needed one with a table or like a sort of a quiet study area or for like a Zoom meeting with a couple of people. We could change it so that we had more smaller ones that would just have a chair.
Wow.
So, and the tempered glass would be expensive, framing it up though, and the rest of it, I mean, it's something that we would probably have to put into a budget, but we could do this really, you know, modestly and get something that would actually be useful to us.
Oh my gosh, this seems wonderful.
Wow.
So
Really?
this is good. Okay.
Yeah.
How far does that come out?
8 feet.
8 feet.
Yep, and it goes right over the vestibule
Mhm.
so that we could have that actually covered so that the volume of air doesn't change every time in the winter someone opens the door. It just seemed like, I always wondered why it was open like that. Like maybe it was an afterthought, but anyway, and the other thing is like, coming right off the elevator, we still have enough room for turning radius and everything else, so it makes you know, a little bit less of that volume in the main, but not enough that you would really notice, I don't think. So that 8 feet is, you know, it's like from there to 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's just enough for, you know, a decent little study area or room. So that was another thing. And then finally, we talked about the stairwell. I'm gonna get this scanned so I can give this to you guys, because you wanted to look at it, I don't wanna. I have a tendency to just wrap everything up.
Yeah, that could be scanned and then attached to the minutes. Is that what you can do?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
And then, sorry about that. Then the other thing is we were talking about the stairwell, and this is pretty much as far as I have on our list of 10 items, but stairwell, it's super dark, and I think dingy is probably a good word too. And you had mentioned that it would be nice if there was a way that you could post things, and this is the piece of just maple luan. It's nothing really expensive, and I could make some like custom, or no, I wouldn't make it, I would design some. You don't want me making it, so that would be a terrible thing, but there's like 2 different ways to, or actually there's probably 4 different ways. We could do board and batten. So this would be the board and the batten would just be sort of similar color wood. We could polyurethane it. And then if you wanted to tack things to it, you wouldn't feel like it's not super precious. And we can just glue it right to the brick, and there's this stuff that, I forgot what it's called. But it's, once it's on, it's really hard to get it off. So, I mean, it could be very nice. And so like a custom kind of thing for each floor, we could talk about it and like go over that. Or there's also, we could just put this up, and the panels come, if they're 4x8 panels, and we could just glue the panels up and have them just, you know, butt together. And that's a very like normal mid-century modern type of paneling. But in the light color, I think it would take, you know, keep the brick from looking so dark. And then the other one is I'm getting a sample of this fluted, it's like fluted paneling. It has a really beautiful texture, and there's something about it that just, it's really pleasing to the eye. And it also comes in this light color. And then we could paint the underside of the stair, something like this. and then it would just brighten the whole thing up. And finally replacing the lights. And these are not good copies, but I screenshot these so I can send them to you, but just some different sort of ideas for lighting fixtures to replace the sconces that are there. And these are LEDs, so you shouldn't have to mess with them too much. And all of that together, I think would brighten everything up to a point where you would feel a little bit, Joyce, I'm sorry.
No, Robin, how big were you thinking those panels? Are you wanting to cover just pieces of the brick and some of the, did you say 8 by 10?
Yeah, no, they're 4 by 8. And
But when you said design a piece, that's,
I haven't measured it, so I'd
Okay.
have to do a little measuring to get something with board and batten if we wanted to go that route. I'd like for you guys to see the fluted stuff because
okay.
it really would work well in this building. You have some paneling already, it's dark, but you do have some paneling here that like a darker wood, but it's just butted up together. And there's something also to be said about that, but you'd probably want a better grade of Luan than this. This is really, I mean, this side is really pretty. This side is also, they use it and it's yellow. So it's really, that there's a
Huh.
lot of degrees of color change in the Luan, but it's just how they sandwich it. It's, you know, it's sturdy, so it's not a bad way to go if we're saving money. And the thing is, depending on, I really have to look at it, the landings would be very simple because we could either go all the way up from the underside of the decking to the floor, or you know, we could do something where it's just sort of you know, like chest height or neck height. So everything above it could be brick. So there's enough variations that we could do. I just need to really look at it so that we can
Yeah.
get something that really works for us and that we all like. And then it turns out that, I mean, if we did it floor to ceiling, then I'd like to do that all the way, like clad the whole entire stairwell, because then it's just so much brighter. And then these fixtures just would replace the ones that are there that are odd. They're probably like really important. They're
I don't, they weren't original.
Oh,
Somebody
good.
told- Yeah, that they weren't original. So, yeah.
Can I make one comment about the fixtures? I think it's important to make sure that whatever fixtures we get have replaceable LED elements, and that the fixture itself, so like I got a kitchen light a few years ago that was an LED kitchen light, and then it started burning out and I found out the lights weren't replaceable and I had to replace the whole fixture.
Oh,
And that a lot of newer LED, well, no,
We've lost you, Matt. We're not hearing you. We can't hear you, Matt.
Matt, you have
We
no
can't hear
sound.
you. Yeah.
I wonder what happened.
let me try it without my headset. Were you hearing me or was I out?
You were out.
We're out.
The whole thing? Oh, good.
No, we can see you, but we couldn't hear you.
And we got to the part where you had to replace your whole kitchen light, and you said a lot of fixtures are like that now.
Yeah, so that's basically the upshot. And especially because those lights are on 24 hours a day in the stairwell, they will have a lot of hours. And so, yeah, you know, whatever fixture, having it have a standard, some kind of standard replaceable LED bulb element rather than it being just part of the fixture, I think would be important.
Yeah. Good point.
Thank you.
I think that's, out of our 10, I think that I just hit 3, right? So,
Those are big 3.
Yeah.
And some are sort of combined, you know, some are bumping up the
Yes.
hallway and some are the storage, and I'm really excited to look at the storeroom possibilities here.
it doesn't, I mean, we, I'm calling it, storage or workroom or storage. If you guys wanted it for like I don't know, a quiet space for, whatever, we could make it do a multifunction thing.
The plan for the bumping out reminds me of the dreams that you have. Do you ever have those dreams where you are in a space that's too small and you open a door and there's suddenly all this lavish space that you didn't know you had? And you think, oh, how is this possible? And this sort of strikes me exactly the same way. Just when you think there's no possible way to add space to this building, lo and behold, apparently there is. It's wonderful.
Do you have any other questions about it besides I think the stairwell is gonna be a little bit, I'm gonna have to give some drawings to you for that, and when, I get the fluted stuff, it's really interesting. So maybe we can kind of work that.
Looking forward to seeing that. I should say, I'll say this now rather than at the end, because it's relevant. I'm not going to be available the whole last 2 weeks in September. I'll be away and won't be available on Zoom. So when the question of when this committee meets again, if it's important to me, which it may well be, if somebody else could possibly chair. There may be, I hope there will be enough people here that there won't be an issue of the quorum. I asked,
Oh,
by the way,
I won't be here the last 2 weeks of September as well,
okay,
FYI.
And I won't be here the second and third.
okay, so September is out. So we'll have to figure that
I
out.
could probably zoom in, but not physically.
That would give me some time to work out
Yeah.
some ideas on
Let's
the
wait till October.
Yes,
stairwell.
yeah, depending on what else may be going on, we may want to meet early in October, but we can figure that out. Okay, thank you, Robin.
Thank you for submitting an invoice.
Thank you. Will do. So I'll make a, excuse me. I'll make a copy of this and I'll get that to everybody. And then all of these, I have saved, so I can send it all out in one fell swoop. And on something like, the changes to that, I think if you guys think about it, maybe it'll come to, what you want to do exactly, as far as like, but there's space, and we keep going over and over, like the best way to handle the snack area, and, I don't know if that's enough, bathroom sort of hides it, so there's things like that I'm gonna have to rely on how things happen here and your expertise on that, so that it doesn't end up being like just another irritating area for you.
So Sarah, you have some opportunity to talk with.
Absolutely.
I can label them too and frame them up for you so that they, don't look like that. But that was just for, we have some stuff we can do that's kind of what you'd like. So, there.
Wonderful. Thanks so
Um,
much.
and this you can, I don't know if you wanna, it's a peel and stick that I bought for you guys. You just, you can put it on the back of one of the stairs just to see the difference. It's gonna make such a huge difference in, so I would like to leave that too.
Oh, that's great.
If
Thank
you
you.
wanna,
I had this-
you wanna play with it.
Yeah.
I think this might be, like, I thought people don't like white, maybe beige is good, but it's just a little tiny one. I think I can get a larger.
That looks so dark.
Compared to that, I'm just so keen on, we already have a problem with the dark there,
Yeah.
so,
Is this washable or cleanable?
The-
Kids' fingers go on it.
depending on the, first, it depends on the paint, but then, the other, thing about it is that, it depends also on the finish. So if you get like a semi-gloss, usually that's easier to clean. I worry a tiny bit, like, you know, the problem with a cream color is that, people love to write on it. But we're talking just the back of the stairs, so to write on that, you really have to be, like, it'll have to be a very tall person or somebody standing on somebody else, and you guys not seeing that seems like something that is gonna happen.
And if it does, you can just clean it up.
Yeah, right. But, you know, that's all you need is to, like, another, you know, gallon of paint that you have to keep.
Yeah.
But-
And sort of store out.
There is that graffiti proof finish that they used on the wall on High Street, which seems to work.
It does, it feels oily, it's a really strange texture to it, but, I mean, we absolutely could do that. It doesn't drip, so, yeah.
Hmm.
That's a great idea.
Why not?
I also just wonder about whatever the surface is that we put it on. It's, you know, how easy it is to clean. Because sometimes people don't use the railings, they use a wall. And so, you know, over time you have all these, particularly on a light wall, you have all these fingerprints.
Oh, you'd have to, this is, I don't know if you can feel it, but you'd have to polyurethane it.
Yes,
You'd
okay.
have to do something, probably a little bit more on the, like, on the toxic side, sadly. Just because you don't wanna have it stain, and also it prevents any kind of, you know, digging in, what do you call it, engraving.
Yeah, it's pretty porous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you want me to leave this for you?
Can I feel it?
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, let's leave it in, because these guys.
Yeah,
come in and feel it.
You wanna feel it?
Feel the wall.
but it's pretty neat stuff.
It's pretty.
Wow,
Yeah,
that would
right.
really change things.
And I mean, we could go a darker color too, like slightly darker, but I like the lighter, and I'd like to keep it just clear coat because it's very dark in there, even with new lighting, it's still gonna have a.
And even a clear will darken it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good point.
but all the, you know,
But
all
it
the variations,
stays warm enough.
yes.
Yeah.
The variations will come out, and be really pretty, and it's just funny that the side's so yellow, and it's just sandwiched on the,
Yeah, but the other side's pretty too.
yeah.
I like the lighter. Yeah, so this sounds like a relatively economical change that will really make an immediate significant difference. So it's very
Right?
Cool. Great, thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Is this relatively inexpensive, this?
Yes, I'm for pricing on it, yesterday. So, I'm sorry about that, but. Mike's supposed to get back to me, and I also ordered a sample. I went everywhere looking for that fluted stuff, I knew I had seen it somewhere, so. I asked for a price for that in a sample, so I should have that definitely by October, so we can get that kind of squared away. And if we did the fluted, there would be no design work to it, it's just, it lines up and, you just glue it, you don't even have to, because they're so light.
Mhm.
You don't have to nail it to the wall, so the brick will not be hurt, people who are happy with the brick, love the brick, you can say that it's, you know, temporary, of course, we'd have to sand it to get it off, but we'd hit that if, you know,
it could be done.
it could be done if we had to.
We're preserving. We're protecting.
We're protecting it, yes, exactly. I like that, that's exactly what we're doing. Anyway, thank you all.
Thank
I'll see
you.
you later.
And I just want to
Curious.
align what Star said, we are all here. And I don't sleep, so I'm very accustomed to middle of the night phone calls.
Thank you.
I have no problem.
Thank you all. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so, all business, I wanted to ask, what's the status of the swinging door in the children's room?
Oh, Mary I've been in touch with her and, I believe she's ordering the material. in the community the other. So I've been up email today.
Thank you, it'd be lovely to have that done.
If it makes it easier, Star, and you don't have to follow up on it, I'll probably see her this weekend.
Okay, well,
And I'm
you.
more than
you can
happy to
send
ask her.
email, and you can ask.
Okay.
Okay,
Double.
exactly.
So who is Mary?
Mary McLaughlin.
She's doing the work.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It is McLaughlin. He makes Mary make somebody's. I have to- Yes.
Okay, any other old business?
Still no news.
Yeah.
Nothing, they don't even,
Well, we've had a couple follow-up clarification emails wanting to know different things from me.
Mhm.
And they did let me know that, you know, we had put in, I think, $70,000 for a project manager, and they won't fund that. So I did race over to John Potter and said, you know, they said they won't pay for a project manager, and we are gonna need a project manager.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, it's too important, we'll find the money, and really, I think that's something the board might want to consider. You know, pulling the money from the endowment, because it really, for the investment. Yeah, and we do have. So, you know, that is kind of what it's there. So, I'm still waiting to hear. They said, you know, they said by the end of August, which is pushing right up there, but then they also said, by the end of summer, which is September.
September 21st is the end of August, summer.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
yeah. I'm gonna take the fact that there are follow-up phone calls as encouraging.
right.
they haven't forgotten us.
No, I haven't forgotten. And every group meeting that Zoom meeting, it starts, you know, update on the grants. I'm not the only one holding my breath.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay, any other input regarding building and furnishing needs that you're? Matt?
Yeah, Matt, you got anything?
I think I mentioned this to you already, Star. This is pretty minor. I'm not sure it's really building and grounds or just kind of library. That when our new outreach person starts, we're probably going to want to ask them to give in some preferences for a new chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so at the moment. You know, I think I'd mentioned before, um, uh, I mean, you know, the task chairs that we got, the ones on wheels, um, uh, I think we could potentially at some point use a few more of those, if we wanted to, but it's not pressing, urgent. I mean, I think, you know, and I imagine Star, you might think this too. You know, I think in the long term, we're probably going to look at new chairs for programs. Those black ones are, you know, not all in the best shape anymore, and you know, but it's a tricky thing because I mean they are the benefit is, the good thing about them is that they do stack up and you know take up a relatively small amount of space. A lot of other options like the ones in the room that you're in there are nice, but they take up an awful lot more space and obviously can't, you know, be moved around as easily. um yeah, but I mean that's sort of all just more like thinking like longer term kind of stuff. I can't think of anything that's really pressing right at the moment.
Right, and eventually we want to replace the tables in the downstairs too. That was on our list.
Yeah.
So.
I did manage, you know, with in coordination with staff and things, we did add two more desktop public computer workstations for people to use. You know, we had one of the nicer computer desks that was just in one of the windows that we were able to swap out for a slightly less glamorous desk there. To put one in the main cluster in the main reading room. And then we also added one in the mezzanine, which is on one of those older big white metal tables which we mostly got rid of because they weren't very glamorous looking, and we're on the bigger side, but up in the mezzanine where it is at the moment, I don't think that's a problem. So, you know, I talked about that as a possible need, I think at a meeting, a couple meetings ago, and I think at the moment, at least, that's again also not a pressing need, because we were able to sort of look around and find things and make it work.
That's great. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, and so I think we're done, unless
Oh.
anybody has any other business. That was a quick one.
Perfect timing. My serviceman is here.
Okay, well, thanks for
Okay.
joining us, Joyce. Thanks, Matt. Good to see you. Have a good rest of the day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll stop the recording.